Baik, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name's Alisha Aurora. I'm from 11E, a master student studying in ULBI. So for today, we'll be discussing about the case study of supply chain network design of PT Indofood Sukses Makmur. Okay, so background. PT Indofood Sukses Makmur (TBK), commonly known as Indofood, is one of the largest food manufacturing companies in Indonesia. Indofood has a diversified product portfolio, including instant noodles, dairy products, snacks, food seasonings, and beverages. It also has a significant distribution network across the country to meet the needs of its consumer. Given Indonesia's geographic challenges with over 17,000 islands, designing an effective supply chain network is crucially for Indofood to minimize costs and maximize customer satisfaction. Now, the problem statement: Indofood is currently facing increased demand in the eastern region of Indonesia, for example, Sulawesi, Maluku, and Papua. However, their existing distribution network is struggling with timely deliveries due to long lead times, high logistic costs, and limited local manufacturing capabilities. The company is considering options to optimize its supply chain network to improve efficiency and meet rising demand. Now, the task we have as a supply chain analyst, we are asked to evaluate Indofood's current supply chain network and propose an optimized design. The key considerations include 1. Facility location, which we will be determining whether to set up a new manufacturing plant or a distribution center in the eastern region. And 2. Transportation mode, where we're going to choose an appropriate transportation mode for delivering products from Java, where the main production facilities are located, to the eastern region. And number 3, we have cost analysis, in which we conduct a cost analysis comparing the existing network versus the proposed optimized network. And then we have number 4, a risk assessment, in which we identify potential risks and mitigation strategies in implementing the new network design. Okay, so the questions here, we have number 1, what factors should be considered when deciding to establish a new manufacturing plant or distribution center in the eastern region? Number 2, we have based on the demand and cost analysis, which option is more feasible for Indofood, a new manufacturing plant or a new distribution center? Number 3, which transportation modes should Indofood consider for delivering products to the eastern region and why? Number 4, perform a cost-benefit analysis comparing the existing network and versus the proposed network design. And number 5, we have identify and explain potential risks in implementing the new supply chain design and provide strategies to mitigate this risk. Okay, so we'll be going to number 1, in which factors to consider between manufacturing plant versus distribution center. So we have demand factors. Current and projected demand in Sulawesi, Maluku, Papua, demand stability versus seasonal fluctuation, market growth potential or urbanization and income level. And then we should also consider cost factors for the CapEx and OpEx. So if we're going to choose for plan, we will be needing a cost for machinery, utilities, and very skilled labor, which gonna cost very high. And then with distribution center, we're only gonna spend for warehouse handling equipment, which considered moderate. And then we have operating expenditure. For plant is raw material procurement, labor wages, utilities, and maintenance. And in distribution centers, we have inventory holding, labor, warehouse operations, and transportation cost savings potential. Okay, so to see supply chain capability, availability of raw material, skilled labor, utility reliability, supplier proximity, existing infrastructure readiness, and then regarding lead time service level, we shall consider required responsiveness to customer, ability to reduce stockouts and delays. And then as for the geographic and infrastructure considerations, we should consider regarding post access, road connectivity, inter-island logistic complexity, proximity to major markets in Eastern Indonesia too. And then finally, we shall consider the things regarding risk and feasibility, in which include government regulation, environmental or social impact, security and stability, as well as investment risk tolerance. And then number 2, so which option is more feasible? Is it option A or option B? Do we build a manufacturing plant or do we build a regional distribution center? So the pros and cons of building a manufacturing plant, okay, we can eliminate long-distance shipping, yeah, sure. Faster service, supports long-term expansion, and reduces dependency on Java. However, the cons, we have very high investment, which gonna include hundreds of billions Indonesian rupiah, and limited raw material availability in East Indonesia, higher operational complexity, and high utilization risk if demand fluctuates. But then we go to option B, in which we build regional distribution centers. The pros include much lower investment, significantly time reduction, reduced logistic costs, because like we're gonna have bulk shipping from Java, more flexibility and faster implementation. And the cons, there's only 2 apparently. Still dependent on Java production, and then we only gonna require efficient inventory planning. So our final decision will be based on economic feasibility and strategic flexibility. It is recommended that the company build regional distribution centers. Specifically, we're gonna build a primary regional distribution center in Makassar, Sulawesi, and probably secondary satellite hubs in Ambon and Jayapura, Maluku and Papua. Okay, so moving on to number 3, recommended transportation modes and justifications. So regarding the inter-island transport between Java to the eastern region, we're gonna have 2 modes, which is sea freight and air freight. For the sea freight, well, it provides the lowest cost per ton and is highly suitable for high-volume FMCG shipments. And shipping routes from Tanjung Priok and Tanjung Perak are generally stable and reliable. And containerized shipping using 20-foot or 40-foot containers, it's recommended for instant noodles, beverages, seasonings, and snacks. This mode works best for bulk replenishment and regular scheduled shipment. And then we go for air freight, which I include as selective use. Air freight is applied selectively because it is the fastest option. Typically, taking only 1 to 2 days, it is especially useful for urgent replenishment needs as well as high value or perishable items. However, the cost is significantly higher, so air freight should mainly be used for service recovery situation or premium SKUs rather than routine distribution. And then we have intra-region transport. Okay, so the transportation within the area of Eastern Indonesia. So within the eastern region, truck transport is commonly used for distribution across Sulawesi. For Maluku and Papua, small cargo ships are utilized to connect islands that are not accessible by road networks. And collaboration with third-party logistics, 3PL providers is recommended to manage deliveries to remote and outer island efficiently. And then we go to number 4, which is the cost-benefit analysis. So below is a logical illustrative comparison. Okay, not exact company figures, but academically valid reasoning. So the current supply chain setup, in which we have production in Java, direct shipping to retailers in East Indonesia. We have the cost component and versus impact. Okay, so for the transportation, we have a very high one because like frequent small shipments, and the lead time, it takes really long time, so 2 till 4 weeks. Inventory cost is low because there's no regional stock. Stockouts are high, customer service level moderate to low. And then for my proposed network design, production in Java, ship in bulk, regional distribution centers to retailers. The transportation will go down to 20 till 35% economies of scale in shipping. And then the lead time, we go from 2 to 4 weeks, shortened to 3 till 7 days local delivery. The inventory cost gonna go up, stockouts gonna go significantly improve, and then customer service level will be better due to better availability. So the quantitative illustration will be with current logistic costs of 100 billion per year, implementing a distribution center can cut costs through bulk shipping, saving about 30% or 30 billion annually. So after accounting for DC operation costs of 10 to 15 billion rupiah per year, the net savings are estimated at around 15 to 20 billion annually. So better service levels from the DC can also increase sales. The required DC investment is around 50 to 80 billion, with savings of about 20 billion per year. The payback period is estimated 2.5 until 4 years, making the project financially feasible and attractive. And then the last one, we have risk assessment and mitigation. So number one, regarding infrastructure and logistic risks, well, risks include port congestion, limited road access, and shipping delays. These are mitigated by selecting Makassar as a main hub, partnering with reliable 3PL providers, maintaining safety stock, and planning alternative shipping routes. And then number two, we have regarding the demand risk. So actual demand may not grow as forecasted. Mitigation includes starting with a scalable DC, leasing a warehouse instead of buying at first, and implementing the rollouts in phases. And then number three, we have inventory risk. There is a risk of product damage or spoilage in storage. This is mitigated through FIFO or FIFO practices, proper temperature and humidity control, and the use of warehouse management system. And then number four, we have regulatory and administrative risks. So local policies, and permit issues may arise. So mitigation includes early engagement with stakeholders and through legal compliance reviews. And then number five, we have financial risk. So the main risk is the investment burden. This is mitigated through gradual expansion and initially using a 3PL managed warehouse. And then number six, we have disruption risks, whether it's weather or natural disaster. So Eastern Indonesia faces storms and earthquakes. Mitigation includes geographic diversification with Makassar and satellite hubs, insurance protection, and contingency routing. Okay, so that is all to answer to my case study.